Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of the Lancaster County Council to order. I ask that the clerk note for the record that a quorum of council is present, that public notice of the meeting, including the meeting agenda, has been posted the required length of time in the lobby of the County Administration Building and on the county website, and that the news media was notified of the meeting time and place. I welcome you to your county council meeting. I would ask that you take a moment to turn off or place on vibrate any cell phones or pagers. Thank you for not wearing any hats or caps in the council chambers, and please be considerate of others in the room by refraining from conversations during the meeting. I ask that you please stand and join the council for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation given this evening by Council Member Charlene McGriff.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, as we go into this meeting, please provide us with the guidance and the knowledge we need to make good decisions. Also ask you for safety of our prayers and safety for our country, our state, and our community. I also ask prayers for our students who started school last week. I hope that they have a wonderful year and a safe year. I ask you this prayer in your name. Amen.
Okay, could I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Have a second? Second. Before we are going to remove one item from the agenda, the discussion about the ad hoc committee. We're going to move that to a later date. All right, all those in favor, raise your right hand. All those opposed, it passes unanimously, 7-0. Okay, we now come to citizens' comments. Please bear in mind that this is not a period of dialogue with council or a question and answer period. This is your opportunity to address council with your concerns. I ask that you address your remarks to council as a body and not to any individual council member. Please speak into the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and you will have up to 3 minutes to address council. Your time will not start until you have provided your name and address. First up, we have Paulette Elzaki.
My name is Paulette Isolde. I live at 5058 Carricker Court in Indian Land, South Carolina. First of all, I would like to say thank you to the County Council for all the time and effort you give with so little remuneration. I think that there's too much negativity and not enough positivity. So what I want to do tonight is to state how happy I am with the Lancaster County Library System, particularly directors Nancy Berry for Kershaw, Tally Johnson for the Del Webb Library. And I would like to thank in particular the staff who go so much above and beyond the call of duty. That includes Donna Lawrence, Renee Kummer, Ro Harris, Roxanne Ziedrich, Susan Brinson, Maggie Vincelletti, Noreen Alsop, Billy Falkenberry, and Christine Kiernan. And of course, none of this would be able to happen without the overall guidance of the library director, Dr. April Williams. In addition, I would like to tell you that the library system is trying to start a teen advisory board called TAB, and if you know any students in 7th through 12th grades, whether they go to the schools in the area or homeschooled or whatever, we are having an organizational meeting on September 20th at the Del Webb Library, and we would love it, everyone in those grades, if they can possibly come, to attend. Again, thank you so much for all you do for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Janine Clifton.
Hi, everybody. I'm Janine Clifton. My address is 2023 Oliver Terrace. That's Indian Land, South Carolina. I'm coming back before you. You probably are going to recognize me, but we're at a critical point and we remain there. And honestly, we're going to continue to come forward until we have acceptable resolution. Last year, the Planning Commission agreed that a development plan for 9901 and 9831 was a bad idea. This is the corner of Barberville and Fort Mill Highway. The developer came forward 2 times with plans. Both times they were sent back because of code violations with the plan. At the close of those meetings, the Planning Commission requested the developer meet with the community for alignment. Today, that property is now leveled. When I came to you, the trees were still there. They are totally, completely gone. The development is continuing forward, and no one has met with us, no one has talked to us, but the developer is continuing forward with his same plan. And I know it's the same plan because it was on his website, and it wasn't until I went on the news that the developer removed it from the website. So somehow, some way, they're doing development work that is against the UDO. Now, the planning staff is going to argue the land's been zoned for commercial. I'm good with that. Knew it when I bought my house. It's commercial property. No one's disputing it, but they have to develop it to the UDO. The plan is not the same plan. I disagree. I can see on their sewage submissions, on their civil plats, on their website, it's the exact same plan. They sent it in 2 pieces. So right now, they're proposing and trying to develop as a minor subdivision. The setbacks are lower. They're putting a parking lot right on our cul-de-sac. And it's a major subdivision. The land piece that they wanted to use and are developing first was originally subdivided into 3 parcels. We were there. We were part of that discussion. Today, their plan proposal shows 4 plots of land. So they now subdivided it into 4 without going to the Planning Commission because they put a road through it. And they're going to argue that the road is the road for their one small minor parcel. The road on every website, on every diagram, shows it connecting the 2 parcels, making 7. Not 1, not 2, not 3, 7. All we're doing is coming forward. We need help. They've completely cleared out the land. We have no buffer zone with them. We have nothing. And they're moving forward where us, the citizens, are just sitting here holding nothing. So the one thing I ask for you is please have somebody look into this. There's a lot of UDO violations in their plan. It's never been adjusted, and I ask for some help, please. So I'll give you the diagrams so you have them, and that's everything.
Thank you. We'll give those to the clerk to council.
I'm sorry.
If you'll give those to the clerk to council.
I will.
Thank you. Mr. Davis Martin.
Good evening. Davis Martin, 3530 Torrington Way, Suite 204, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28277. I'm with the Weller Life Communities. We have an item on the agenda tonight, 8E. So just want to let y'all know that we're here tonight to answer any questions when that comes around. Myself and our engineer is here, and we provided some pictures that we submitted that you can look at your own pace. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we're going to move on to item 6A, a special presentation, recognition of Deputy Coroner. Oops, I'm sorry, you got one online submission.
Mr. Chairman and council members, thank you. We do have one electronic submission from Mark Forwork, and you should have physical copies of these at your seats. He wrote in regarding the widening of Rise Lane, and he just wants to know when it is anticipated that the Rise Lane widening project will be awarded to the contractor, as it was posted on the Lancaster County Procurement website on July 29, 2025.
Thank you, Ms. Simpson. Okay, we're going to move on to item 6A, recognition of Deputy Coroner John Collins for being awarded the South Carolina Coroners Association Sue Townsend Award. Ms. Dees.
Thank you, council. Thank you for the opportunity to allow me to showcase one of my deputy coroners. It is with pride that I tell you this is our 8th state award that we've brought home. Our office does some great things, and we love showcasing our folks. So I would like to read to you the nomination for Deputy Coroner John Collins. John is a very active member of the association, and he has a passion for the preservation and integrity of the coroner profession. We are often faced with many obstacles that require someone with knowledge in various fields of expertise. John came to the Lancaster County Coroner's Office with no formal law enforcement or medical training, but he was armed with immense knowledge, eager spirit, and determination. When he first joined Lancaster County Coroner's Office, he dove in and learned the ropes at lightning speed. Then he took flight with his visions for improvement, from the dynamics of processing a crime scene to the dynamics of planning a new facility. He is constantly monitoring process and procedures to ensure the most effective and efficient practices and that they are being applied. His knowledge is so diverse, vast, and valuable that multiple agencies call upon him for assistance in their own investigations. From crime scenes to contractors, from toxicology to trees, from electrolytes to electricity, he is truly a wealth of knowledge and faces every task with eagerness to learn, decipher, and obtain resolution. I have coined him as holding a master's degree in common sense. In order to win the Sue Townsend Award for the South Carolina Coroners Association, we compete against 45 other counties, as you know. The Sue Townsend Award, you must exhibit and embody determination, tenacity, and doggedness. And beyond a shadow of a doubt, Deputy Coroner John Collins does that, and the state recognized that by giving him that award this year. So your 2025 Sue Townsend Award winner is right here from Lancaster County, Deputy Coroner John Collins.
Thank you for that presentation, and congratulations, John, for your award. All right, we're going to move on now to our consent agenda. To have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve consent agenda items 7A, 7B, 7C, 7D, 7E, 7F, and 7G.
Can we have a motion? Second from Ms. McGriff. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Okay, we're going to move on now to item 8A on our non-consent agenda, public hearing and second reading of ordinance number 2025-1981, an ordinance to authorize the execution and delivery of one or more amendments to the installment purchase and use agreement and the base lease and conveyance agreement, each between Lancaster County, South Carolina, and Lancaster County Public Facilities Corporation, and to provide for other matters relating thereto. To have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Have a motion from Ms. McGriff. To have a second.
Second.
Have a second from Mr. Neal. We did not have anyone sign up for public hearing, so we'll go on to the to comments. Mr. Marstone.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and council members. This item is related to the fact that we create a public facilities corporation in relation to the bonds that we are using to construct the detention center off of Pageland Highway. We have identified basically 46 acres for that property out there, and we now are looking to build a new coroner's office on that land. And so this action will allow us to carve off 5 acres from that land from the Public Facilities Corporation through some agreements with them to make sure that we have standalone agreements for coroner's office and detention site. So this is a perfunctory kind of move to make sure that we cross our T's and dot our I's on how we go forward with the Public Facilities Corporation as relates to land for the coroner's office and the detention center.
All right, thank you. Is there any questions, comments? Not, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Passes unanimously. Okay, we're going to move on to item 8B, first reading of ordinance number 2025-1959. An ordinance to amend the Lancaster County Code related to the membership of the Health and Wellness Commission. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Have a motion from Mr. Luis,
Second.
second from Mr. McGriff. Mr. Marstall.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and council members. We've had a conversation about different boards and commissions that the county council has created over time, roughly 19. One of them that you've created is the Health and Wellness Commission. It currently stands with 17 members, and we have identified different representatives within the community have had representation on the board, such as USCL, Council on Aging, the school district, the hospital. As we were going through this process, these different outside agencies really don't have a process of their own to do appointments, so oftentimes we're working with them to try to find membership. It's sometimes been a struggle to get appointees for this one, so we are suggesting that we keep everything the same. The purpose or the mission of it is to be an advisory body to county council for Lancaster County in matters concerned with the health and wellness of the community. That broad, that simple. But instead of having targeted representation from different community groups, we're suggesting that we change the membership from 17 down to 11. So each council district would still be represented with 7, and then have 4 at-large positions instead of having different segments of representation. If you want some of these existing organizations that have had representation from the schools or USCL, they can serve in the at-large spot. But this will help us to make sure that we can maintain quorum for the Health and Wellness Commission. And so we're just bringing forward a recommendation to change the membership from 17 down to 11.
Mr. Chair, I have,
Ms. McGriff.
how do we go about naming those 4 at-large members to appoint?
So we can do like your other appointment process. We can solicit from the community if you have some from your district. We can go back to those agencies and say, hey, we're open for membership now if you'd like to forward a name. So you may see a list at some point in time where you could have 6 or 8 or 10, and you just have to choose 4 for the at-large.
So what's the status of this committee? When will they start? And when will the appointments be over?
Well, if you approve this, they are 4-year terms, I believe. Yeah, 4-year terms. So that hasn't changed. So a lot of those have not changed. But as soon as we get concurrence on the adoption, then we'll go for the solicitation for members.
Thank you.
And Mr. Marstall, I would assume that those 4-year terms are going to be staggered, consistent with the terms of council. And then what about the 4 at-large ones?
The 4 at-large, as we have it on here.
Probably split 2 and 2.
Well, so we have, I'm looking on here, will be appointed at-large. No residency in the council districts required for those 4 at-large. Serve 4-year terms. And
They're going to be staggered. They're going to have.
I'm saying I'm looking to see, the existing terms haven't changed, and so they're already staggered, so we will fill them into, well, they're not existing, with the 4 terms. Is there anything you want to add to that?
So the Health and Wellness Commission exists at this moment with that. When you initially set up this commission, its terms were staggered to start out. So really what you're doing is just removing a couple of positions. So everyone who is in the 7 districts and the 4 at large right now is going to stay on the commission. So as their terms roll off, there'll be appointments put back into those positions. So it will naturally stagger itself because it's already doing that now since it exists. We're not reconstituting this commission. We're not disestablishing. We're just removing some memberships. That's all.
So that, I guess, lead to another question. So at this point, if I choose to name somebody on there and District 2 is represented or that person is on there, I'm going to have to wait until that time is up.
Well, if you remember on our general provisions, they serve at your pleasure. So if you wanted to remove
No,
someone.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yes, ma'am. If you wanted to remove them, you could, but yes, ma'am, they would serve out their term at this point if they're already on there.
And can we have a list of those appointees? Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Call for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Okay, we're going to move on to item 8C, first reading of ordinance number 2025-1960. An ordinance to amend the Lancaster County Code, Chapter 2, Article 11, Division 5, related to the Lancaster County Community Relations Commission. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Have a motion from Mr. Luis. Do we have a second? Have a second from Mr. Mosteller. Mr. Marstall.
Mr. Chairman and council members, this is a little bit more nuanced. This is the Community Relations Commission as it's currently established. We're suggesting that you change the name and the purpose for this committee. And so why is because there is a connection between the South Carolina Human Affairs Commission and its Community Relations Division. That has had a tangential relationship with our Community Relations Commission. However, there's been some changes within the commission where they can do some of their work that's kind of more investigatory as it relates to some human rights, human relations issues. So we're suggesting we let the State Human Affairs Commission do their work and then have your local committee do some more community focused. So first, we're suggesting that we change the name from Community Relations Commission to the Community Outreach and Engagement Advisory Committee. We will amend its focus so that it will be a little bit different from the state. And this is where it'll be making recommendations to council regarding best practices for community outreach, fostering positive relationship with community members, encouraging private and public partnerships that encourage community programs, and in addition, to evaluate ways to use various communication tools and platforms that can be used to educate and inform community members. So we are looking for a body to help us work more on our community engagement, but not have some of the past assigned factors that the Human Affairs Commission is currently doing from the state level. So there's no funding changes. So we do have that as a title change and as a mission change for this committee. Still, it'd be council has appointees per district, and then we also have at large on there. So make sure I got that right. Yep. So that is what we're bringing forward tonight for your consideration, and welcome any questions.
Any discussion?
I need the list of the appointees so it can refresh my memory as to who I appointed. But I think my appointee resigned, so I think I will have to appoint a new one. Because when she resigned, we sort of went into the process of making the changes. So I just need to know for sure who's on there. And I'm okay.
All right. Any other comments? I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All those opposed, it passed unanimously. Okay, we're going to move on to item 8D, first reading of ordinance.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Can I ask that this gets put on the, what is it, non-consent agenda? Consent agenda.
Yes, that'll be fine. Okay, we're going to move on to item 8D, ordinance, reading of ordinance 2025-1983, an ordinance to amend ordinance number 2025-1971 relating to the appropriation of funds and the approval of a detailed budget for Lancaster County for the fiscal year beginning July the 1st, 2025, and ending June the 30th, 2026, to our fiscal year 2025 to 2026. Further provide for revenues and expenditures during the fiscal year and to provide for matters related thereto. Ms. Prevuznak.
Thank you, Mr. Carnes. Good evening, everyone. Tonight, there are two budget amendments.
Hold on, I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
A motion from Mr. Harper.
Second.
Second from Mr. Neal. Now you may go. Sorry about that.
Thank you, Mr. Carnes. Tonight, there are two budget amendments for your consideration, vote, and approval. One related to state aid to local libraries, and the second one related to your capital project sales tax 2 collections. The first item related to state aid. As you know, that is an appropriation from the state of South Carolina. All 46 counties receive an allocation towards their public library system. On June 27th, our Dr. April Williams received a memorandum with our Lancaster County state allocation. You have both the memorandum and the state aid table in your agenda packet. If you want to move to that state aid allocation table, you will see about halfway down Lancaster County, our population count in the 2020 census, what our annual allocation from the state is for the year, and that we would receive that amount in 2 installments. So that's $264,689.10. And so we are asking tonight that you recognize, receive, and appropriate the difference, roughly $16,800 towards personnel in Fund 23, state aid to the libraries for 2 existing staff. That amount also is calculated with the state aid formula. And so the per capita amount is $275, and then the population, and that's how that amount, so that amount is calculated by the General Assembly. The second item is capital project sales tax 2. And you also have the ordinance in your packet tonight. And Exhibit 2 is where the Lancaster County Road Proviso list is. In cash reserves, as of the close of the fiscal year 2025, you have in excess $1,809,877.70. And so that is available for your appropriation towards 2 roads that are currently listed on the proviso list. That's Cleveland Street and Rise Lane. And so the ask tonight is that council appropriate the $1.8 million in excess capital project sales tax 2 reserves for road improvement work to Cleveland Street and Rise Lane, to amend the current annual budget ordinance and to adopt the amended ordinance accordingly. Are there any questions on either of those 2 amendments for state aid or capital project sales tax 2?
Any questions?
I don't have any questions on the state aid. I do have questions and just clarifications on the CPST2 provisions for those 2 roads, and just making sure that we are going to have enough funds to cover the cost for those 2 roads and the improvements that we're anticipating.
So yes, we have it structured. When you all did the proviso for CPSC 2, you added Rise Lane and added Cleveland Street. So those projects are moving forward. You also have Cleveland Street on capital project sales tax 3. So should there not be enough in this proviso or this excess funds from CPST 2, we can then pull from CPST 3 for Cleveland Street. So there's sufficient funds, but as you know, we're out to bid on these 2, and so we don't have the finalized cost projects. But the intent is to try to get both of them done within that amount. But if we need some carryover funds for Cleveland, then we do have project sales tax 3 list.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out how to move forward on this one. I do not like the costs that have come back from the bids. So I'm hesitant to move forward and confirm those costs, especially at the amounts that we're seeing, which are significantly higher than what we had anticipated even at the last meeting that I objected to. So, and I understand that we're looking into that. So I can move forward. I just want to make sure we don't put this into the consent agenda. I want to have another conversation about that road cost and just make sure that we're being reasonable with our constituents' funds.
Duly noted, and you will get more information on Rise Lane in particular as we go through those bids.
Mr. Chair, for clarification, project sale tax 3, how far in are we with number 3?
It's 7 years.
I think we're 3 years into 3.
3 years
Yeah.
in,
22? 20, yeah,
okay,
so 3 years.
okay.
Any other questions or concerns? All right, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All those opposed, it's unanimous. Okay, we're going to go on to item 8E, first reading of ordinance number 2025-1984, an ordinance to amend ordinance 2021-1711 related to a development agreement between Lancaster County and Redwood Indian Land, Barberville, SCP-1, also known as Redwood, to amend Section 1A of the ordinance and to amend Section Exhibit B1 and to amend Exhibit C and to correct Scrivener's errors in Section 1.02 and to amend Section 1.10 and other matters related thereto. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Ms. McGriff and a second from Mr. Harper. Ms. Harden.
Thank you. Ms. Williams is not able to be here, so I'm here on her behalf. Thank you for having me. As you stated, there are a few small changes proposed to the ordinance that was development agreement between Lancaster County and Redwood Indian Land, Barberville, SCP-1. On this ordinance, we will talk about the different ordinances that are different amendments that were requested by the applicant, and the last one is a Scrivener's error that staff would like to include in this, please. The first is to amend Section 1A of the ordinance to add or other structures allowed in the professional business zoning district. This is in line with the development agreement that states that any use is allowed in the professional business district in the development area. So this goes along with that to provide the other structures as well. The list of the uses allowed in professional businesses in the box on the right-hand side. Professional businesses is not our most restrictive business zone, but it is very restrictive. It has limited uses. It is meant to be an area where you can have residential and business offices. So the offices and the events that are, or excuse me, the uses that are in there are limited. Several of those are not allowed unless you have certain requirements met as well. But this is the rundown of the list in case you're curious as to what it is available in there. The second thing is to amend Exhibit B1 of the ordinance. There were copies of this in your packet. The original Redwood, or the original development agreement envisioned a townhome community with a higher density. The current one is proposed to be as shown on the right-hand side. This is an exhibit. This would be available to be amended if necessary, but the provision or the exhibit needs to change because it is not correctly reflected without this amendment. The third amendment is to update the development schedule. Currently, the development agreement has an expiration date of August 2026. Even if all the rest of the amendments were made on behalf of this new developer, then they would not be able to meet this by spring of next year and would not be able to have the whole thing constructed by then. If they could, I'd love to know how. But this shows not only the change in the dates, but also the reduction in density that is proposed under the new design standard, or excuse me, the new plan. And then Section 4 is to amend it to add additional 5 years, extending the agreement through April 12th, 2031. The provision in state law is to allow up to 5 years extension, so this would have them all done at once per the state code at council's discretion and the agreement of both parties. The parties, of course, have applied for this, so that's their request, and if you agree, that will be implemented. And then the Scrivener's error, the original ordinances that were reflected in this were dated as 2020, but they were done in 2021, so we discovered that in the review and asked for that to be added to the list. Staff has no concerns with this and recommends approval.
All right, any discussion?
So there's a reduction in the number of units from 155 to 97?
Yes, sir.
Is that correct? And then is there, in that drawing, there's a building that's going to go in the front? What is that?
That is the amenity for the neighborhood.
Okay, so it's a neighborhood amenity, so it's going to,
Yes.
it's going to be consistent with the same residential use.
It'll be serving the residents in the neighborhood. It does not seem to be a convenience store or anything like that. Right.
Okay, I just wanted, because it was confusing with the conversation we were having about the professional business use, so that's why I was,
I see that. I apologize. Yeah, no, this is supposed to be an amenity for the neighborhood.
okay. And then those are the only differences between the plans is the reduction in kind of the reconfiguration of the lots, and then it's reducing it from like triplex and quadruplex to like duplex, is what I saw. Is that correct?
Single family.
Single family.
It's going to be in a horizontal property regime, so that it'll all be owned under one ownership, and the houses will be built on site. There are some topography issues with the plan. As you can see, both of them have a greenway going through the middle, kind of like cutting off the panhandle of this piece, but not the panhandle of the county. And that is a stream that goes through and that has to be buffered and has to be set aside on its own. Then there's some additional buffering around the backside and some buffering along the back of the housing. But the stream part that goes through the middle is one of those that you just can't design over. And one of the reasons that the road doesn't connect in the back on either of these plans is because crossing the stream once is difficult, crossing it twice is even more so. So this has been allowed to go through with the one crossing.
Okay. And then for the extension of the time, and this is a clarification just from my mind, does the time expire? So if you have till April 2026, if they start during that time period, is that when they're already clear? Or do they have to complete the entire project by the time that it expires? It's the completion date.
The reason for the extension is because they would have to complete it by 2026.
Okay, that's why I was at, it's a completion date, okay? And then.
And if they're magic, I'd love to talk to them, but
I agree. If they get that done by April 2026, I would love to
I'd be so impressed.
know that as well. And then there was some conversation on the impact fees that I saw in my notes.
Yes. The reduction of impact fees is equal to the reduction of the units. So while there will be a reduction in density, which is something that we hear a lot of requests for in the Indian Land area, there will also be, with the fewer units, we'll get fewer funds for
The total number is
Yes.
going to be reduced. Gotcha. Okay, that's what I wanted to, but the impact fee amounts are still going to
Right,
remain the same.
they will be charged the same amount, yes, sir.
Okay, and then that's all I have for now.
To be clear, the impact fee amounts, are those the ones that are listed or were they negotiated?
I believe this one
Differently.
is as it's listed.
As listed now?
And Parks and Rec if it's in that zone.
Okay. I do have a question. What happens if we don't do this?
Then the property dies out with this development agreement, and it would default back to the regular zoning.
Do you have any additional questions? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. We have 4. All those opposed, please raise your right hand. We have 4-3. Okay, we're going to move on to item 8F. Will be a public hearing and first reading of ordinance 2025-1985. Ordinance title and ordinance to amend the Unified Development Ordinance, UDO Chapter 7 and 10 to define the use types large-scale grocery store and regional hospital facility, and to provide for additional wall signage for both uses. Planning Department case number TA-2025-1306. The Planning Commission recommended approval by unanimous vote, and the planning staff also agreed with the text amendments.
That's a typo. My apologies. The Planning Commission recommended approval of a portion of the proposal, and we'll go into that in the presentation.
Okay, thank you.
My
Have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Have a motion from Mr. Luis, a second from Mr. Graham. We have all those in favor, please raise your right hand.
Don't we have?
No, we're not done yet.
Discussion.
Discussion.
We're not
What?
done yet. We're not.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I mean, I'm happy.
Trying to get ahead of myself. Okay, we have a public hearing. There's no one signed up for the public hearing, so now we'll go to discussion.
Yes, sir, and the applicants are here in case you have questions. The proposal that's before you is an amendment to the provision for wall signage, for two types of uses that are also proposed to be added as a list in the definitions. The applicants are on behalf of MUSC for their new parcel, or their new project, and the Lowe's Food Grocery Store, which is located in the Exchange. Both of these are located off of Charlotte Highway. MUSC is directly located off there. Lowe's Foods is behind some out parcels off of Daisy Lane. Again, this is just relating to the wall signage, and tying the wall signage to the definition of the type is something that you have done recently. In 2023, you did the same kind of ordinance change for large-scale retailers for Costco. So the applicant is following along in those lines with this request. As part of the ordinance, there are two new definitions proposed. One is for the regional hospital facility. It's a hospital facility with at least 25 inpatient hospital rooms located in buildings of at least 50,000 square feet of gross floor area. The applicant provided that definition, and staff has no concerns. For the site where it's located, the site is zoned regional business, or RB, and the current wall signage allowed in regional business is 50 square feet or 1 square feet per linear foot of building wall, whichever is greater, but either way, it's a 75 square foot building maximum. The applicants provided a rendering showing what the signage looks like on the top with 75 square feet of wall sign as permitted. You can just barely see at the top on the thing that looks like a fin. The part of the building that looks like a fin has an MUSC logo. It's larger on the bottom one where they have shown it as 400 foot as proposed in their amendment. We also have a definition proposed of large-scale grocery store, or retail grocery store use located in buildings of at least 50,000 square feet of gross floor area. Again, staff has no concerns with the definition. For this project, the Lowe's Food is located in the subject zone of MX, or mixed use. The current allowed wall signage in mixed use is 30 square feet or 1 square feet per linear foot of building wall, whichever is greater, with a 50 square foot building maximum. The reason it's small in MX is because a lot of MX neighborhoods are walkable, or designed to be walkable. So they're envisioning more of signage like a downtown, where you would have a blade or something up against the wall and you would be in a linear part. But in this particular zone, the Lowe's Foods came in with a large-scale grocery store, and so the signage doesn't match the building size. And they gave you examples as well with 50 square feet on the right-hand side, and what they were requesting was 250 on at least two sides on the left. As part of this discussion, we took the Planning Commission back through the research we did in 2023. You may recognize it as looking at different grocery stores or different large-scale retailers on Charlotte Highway, and Aldi had a smaller sign. It's zoned RB. The food line is in a planned development district, so the ruling for this size, the sign, was done in its own zone, but this is 175 square feet on the food line at 8175 Charlotte Highway. The Harris Teeter is also in a planned development district, so that size was regulated by a special zone. They've got 225 square feet plus another 30 for like the pharmacy and the takeout. Then Lowe's Home Improvement, not a grocery store, but a large-scale retailer. That one is in regional business, and that one ended up with a lot more signage, and we're still trying to track down how that worked. But we'll figure that out soon. And then Publix at Charlotte Highway also has a general business, and they have 200 square feet on their frontage, all the signage together, just to give you kind of an idea of what the different scales are. So, and this was heard in two meetings with the Planning Commission. During first meeting, we had some discussion about how the amendment was worded, and turned out that staff thought there was a good bit of extra wording that made it a little overbearing, so we asked her to streamline it in order to make it clearer and to clean it up. Since in the same zone as the large-scale retailers was the proposal for the regional hospital facility at the same size and at the same allotment per building as the large-scale retailers, we proposed for the applicant's language to be streamlined to say that the maximum 400 square feet each on a maximum of 2 walls, totaling 800 square feet per project for large-scale retailer and regional hospital facility. So that would apply the same structure to both of those. That's the same amount of what they asked for, but there was just a lot of extra wording. Then for the large-scale grocery store, we asked to clean that up a bit. Where the large-scale grocery store had come in with a different number, we recommended the same type of language, but they had also included the same exemptions for large-scale retailers and the like. There's no large-scale retailers in this application, so we asked them to remove it so that we wouldn't accidentally create a large wall of signage up and down the highway corridor without a little bit more review. And so we recommended that they say for this exception that the maximum of 250 square feet each on a maximum of 2 walls for a total of 500 square feet per building for a large scale grocery store. And again, this is like the 2023 edit where you tied it to a definition. So only those things that make those definitions would be allowed to do the extra signage. We did survey the major grocery store chains in the county. We found that there were 2 sites that would be allowed to have extra signage other than this site for a total of 3 within the county overall if this was applied. Then the Planning Commission met last week and discussed it again, and the Planning Commission came up with a split vote. The Planning Commission did recommend the approval of the MUSC proposal as proposed, but they did want to recommend cutting down the amount of signage for the grocery store wall signage to a 200 square foot maximum total wall signage. They did not take into account different sides of the walls. It would just be a 200 square foot total. The applicant is still requesting the 250 square foot on 2 walls, 500 square feet total per building, and they're here to answer any questions about the specifics of that.
I got a question. When we went through this when Promenade, we increased some of their signage because of the size of the buildings and stuff, and I totally agree with making these larger for these great big, especially Lowe's. We need to, on these grocery stores, we need to figure how far they are from the road. Like this Lowe's, that one on the right, they won't be able to read that from Charlotte Highway.
Well, that's a good point. Some of the grocery stores are built behind outbuildings, and there's an entire drive of out parcels that are going to be in front of this store as well. That's why when we're talking to applicants, we look at, do you have a presence on Kings Highway or not? Because if we were to make sure that things that are 2 roads off of 521 are still visible from 521, we're talking about bigger than billboard signs for that kind of activity. We definitely want to, or staff definitely wants to encourage scale, propensity to the building, but we also don't want to end up creating a sign war where the farther off you are, the bigger you get and the more lights and the like. So that led to our recommendation. But I appreciate your input considerably.
So your recommendation is with the signage that Lowe's requested, it was the Planning Commission that disagreed with your recommendation, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And we've done this on previous buildings before.
On the large-scale retailers, yes, ma'am.
You remember doing?
Yeah, I know we made, changes.
So your recommendation was 400 square feet for the grocery store also?
Our recommendation was to go, we didn't really have a technical recommendation. We didn't have an opposition to the application that they came in with.
Yep.
Their request was 500 square feet, correct?
Total.
500 total per building,
250
250 on 2 walls.
So I guess my question is, to Mr. Mosteller's point, I guess I'm confused why the use of the building changes the size of the sign. to me, it goes to the square footage of the buildings, the larger building, larger size. So I'm not sure what the difference is between a large-scale retail and a large-scale grocer. If they're both 150,000 square feet, why are we having one signage requirement for one and a different signage requirement for the other?
I can understand your point clearly. Yeah, that's a very good point. The reason that we're where we are is because this is what the applicant asked for, and staff is not in the habit of asking for more signage. We support what we come through with, but I can see your point.
I think I'm okay with what the applicant has requested here, but I think going forward, as we review the UDO, we should probably make it consistent just based on the building size as opposed to the use. And that way, we don't get into any
We have had discussions on that. Yeah. We've had many discussions on that building into the UDO.
Mr. Neal?
No, I'm good. I definitely agree with the large sign.
All right, do you have any other discussion?
So what are we voting on, the 250 on 2 walls, or the planning commission? Which one are we voting on?
You
Recommendation.
can see which one was uploaded.
I mean, the
I
staff.
believe the one that was uploaded was the one that was the original request.
Hospital was 400, but.
Yeah,
Do I need an amendment?
I'm seeing.
She's checking
looking
right
at the
now to see
ordinance.
how it was written.
I think it was the 500 total, but I just want to,
What's on the screen, I think, reflects the action, is that right?
Requested, yeah, 250.
Okay, so the ordinance
walls.
in your packet reflected the minimum 200 square feet, 250 square feet each on, and there is a typo in there. It needs to say maximum of 250 square feet each on a maximum of 2 walls for 500 total.
that's what I was,
That's what the
We
applicant
can
requested.
change the scrivener's error for next time, but the square footage remains the same.
Yes.
Okay,
well,
let's get this right.
well, yeah, let's just fix it now. So I would say, can I make an amendment now?
Yes.
So I would make an amendment to say that it is accept a maximum of 200 square feet each on 2 walls, maximum, or a total of 500 square feet per building.
You said 200.
Sorry, 250 square feet.
Thank you.
For the
250
grocery store,
For the
correct?
grocery store, large-scale grocer.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have amendment from Mr. Luis and a second from Mr. Harper. Any discussion?
And it's going to be 400 for the hospital, correct? That's in this motion.
400 on 2 sides for a total of 800.
Right, okay.
All right, I don't hear any discussion. All those in favor of the amendment? It approves unanimously, 7-0. We'll go back to the initial motion is amended. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go on to item 8G, Resolution 1299-R2025, resolution titled approving the updated 2025 assessment roll for the Edgewater Improvement District, Lancaster County, South Carolina. To have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion from Mr. Harper and a second from Ms. McGriff. Ms. Harris.
Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, council members. I'm bringing forward this evening, these are actually agenda items G through N that I'll go through with the resolution for the assessment role and revenue requirement for our improvement districts. It's an annual action of council for the lives of the bonds to make sure we have enough revenue sufficient to pay the debt on these bonds each year. The updated assessment roll is attached to each of the respective agenda items, and it's updated each year to reflect the current parcels in the improvement district, the names of the owners of the parcels, the assessment for each, the annual payment to be collected, any changes to the annual assessment, and any prepayments that have happened. Well, I'll go through each of the 8 revenue bonds. Would you like for me to stop at each one to vote, or I can go through?
Didn't we have a discussion that that each development, we could approve those together.
You can do it that way, or you could do it all in globo with Ms. Harris explaining them all at one time, and then you could do all 8 of them at one time if you'd
Okay.
like. It's how you'd like to do.
I think we ought to do that.
Motion, I need to make a motion to do them all 8 at one time.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion.
Second.
All right, so I'll go through each resolution and provide the annual revenue requirement for each one, starting with the Edgewater Improvement District. The revenue requirement is $325,000. Edgewater 2, revenue requirement is $201,903.01. Sun City, Carolina Lakes, the revenue requirement is $906,665. Walnut Creek, formerly known as Edenmore, it's divided into 3 bond areas. Bond Area 1 is $652,000. Bond Area 2, $830,953.24. Bond Area 3, $598,955.17. The Reed Point subdivision, which the county auditor is authorized to impose a tax millage associated with this subdivision to pay for the service, the debt service payments. The tax millage is 35 mills, and the revenue requirement is $471,833. And lastly, Rosalind, the revenue requirement for interest payments only is $951,385. Well, council's approval of these updates will allow us to move forward with the levy and the revenue collection process.
Hey, do we have any questions? Okay, we have a motion on the floor. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All those opposed, it passes unanimously.
All right, thank you.
As amended.
Well,
Combine G through N.
What's in globo motion, so they're all approved as, yeah.
because the original motion was for just one item. Okay, we're going to move on to item 8O, Resolution 1307-R2025, a resolution directing the Lancaster County Planning Commission to conduct studies and recommend a capital improvement plan and impact fee. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
A motion by Ms. McGriff, a second by Mr. Graham. Mr. Marstall.
Mr. Chairman and council members, Lancaster County currently has impact fees, which were established in 2021, primarily in the panhandle area of the county for facilities and capital needs related to fire service, law enforcement, emergency medical services, emergency management, and parks and recreation. These impact fees are assessed within defined boundaries to support those respective services when new developments are constructed. And so as the county continues to experience rapid population growth and development, which may require new or adjusted facilities and thus impact fees, in light of the costs of the new facilities that may be needed, this resolution would follow the state 1976 guidelines for impact fee process, which would be to, by resolution, direct the Planning Commission to conduct the required studies and make a recommendation to council regarding revising or imposing new impact fees in the county with a thought to look county-wide. And this would be for the services, law enforcement, emergency medical services, emergency management, and parks and recreation. And so all these will be done within the provision that will come back to you from the Planning Commission, but this is to set them up to do studies, look at what a capital plan could look like for these different services to address the future impact of growth in the county. And so this resolution would kick off that process and then send it over to the Planning Commission.
Thank you, Mr. Marstall. Is there any questions?
I'm just happy that this is on the agenda and that we're moving forward with this.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Mr. Graham.
is the intention to look at different companies to do this study? Or how is that process going to work?
We can do a competitive bid. We do have a company that's done one in the past for us. We have found another company, but we can do a solicitation.
Okay. I think that would be my preference anyway.
All right, have any other discussion?
Yeah, I got a question or comment. I'd like to make it clear that for our Lancaster News or any media, that this is just a study only. This is not, we're not approving doing a countywide impact fees before the phones start ringing, because that's what happened.
Mr. Moskowitz.
Okay, any other comments? All right, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All those opposed, it's unanimous. Okay, we're going to item 8P, Resolution 1308-R2025, a resolution requesting the South Carolina Department of Transportation to post signage prohibiting through truck traffic on Carolina Acres Road between Barberville Road and Harrisburg Road. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Have a motion from Mr. Luis. Do we have a second?
Second.
Did you second, Mr. Graham? Yeah, I think Mr. Graham might have jumped in there before you, Mr. Harper. Is there any discussion? Go ahead, Mr. Marstone.
Mr. Chairman, thank you, and council members. You have heard from some residents on Carolina Acres Road, as we highlighted, between Barberville Road and Harrisburg Road, where they have reached out at a county council meeting, but also specifically to the South Carolina Department of Transportation. Their road is a state-maintained road, but they're looking for some relief on the volume of traffic that is cutting through on their road, but also some big trucks. They have concerns for speeding within the neighborhood, volume, and so the South Carolina Department of Transportation is talking to the neighborhood and may have the ability to do studies with the neighborhood to see if it would ultimately lead to speed tables. But in the meantime, the residents are asking, can the county help support keeping the big trucks off that road by establishing signs that say no through trucks? And so if big trucks are coming through, big rigs or others are identified to be traveling through, they can be ticketed and cited if that road signage is up. And so what we can do, since it's not a county road, we can send this resolution to the Department of Transportation, let them know you have concurrence or interest in that road being designated no through trucks, and encourage them to install those signs. That's the action tonight for those neighbors at Carolina Acre Road.
All right, thank you, Mr. Marstall. Do we have any questions? I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Okay, we're going to go on to 8Q, Resolution 1309-R2025, a resolution to direct county staff to take appropriate action to move forward with the Library Services and Technology Act, LSTA, grant award match, to execute such other documents as may be necessary and convenient, and to take any other action as may be needed to carry into effect this resolution. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Have a motion from Ms. McGriff. Do we have a second? Second from Mr. Luis. Ms. Harris.
All right, I'm back with a resolution requesting council's approval for a required match for a grant that the library system intends to apply for. It's a grant with the Library Services and Technologies Act in the amount of $50,000. The state provides the funds to be able to approve specific projects like developing the preservation and digitization capabilities of public libraries, also to better serve patrons with difficulties using the library to purchase bookmobiles, book lockers, or vending machines. And so the Lancaster Library system plans to use the funds to purchase and utilize book vending machines to improve services for patrons with difficulties using the libraries. The project is slated to be completed by September 30th of 2026. And so related to the funding, the total project cost is $75,758, and the grant award is for $50,000. The local match is 34% of that, or $25,758 of the total cost. And so the request of council tonight is to approve transferring the grant match funds from the administrator's budget to the library system budget. And I know that Dr. April Williams is here as well. I didn't know if she wanted to share any additional detail related to the grant.
Mr. Chair, that it'll be coming out of the grant match account, right?
That will be correct.
Some of the match, we can match with staff time, so we can use that also for match. But we're really excited about this. So this is from a federal grant that the state library actually is a fiscal agent for, and we're hoping to put this vending machine in the northernmost part of the county where we do not have a branch currently, and to allow those people there to have access to library materials where there's not a library branch that's close by.
Any questions?
What were you saying, April, when you came up about the match?
I'm working on the grant now, but part of the county's match can be staff time.
Of this 25,000?
Where will you put these vending machines at local businesses or something?
We don't have a location yet, so I'm currently looking for, I would like to have it, of course, in the northernmost part of the county, north of Del Webb Library. That branch is already overflowing with a lot of circulation, so I would, Redstone area, somewhere near the northern part. We're looking at that now. The state library has told me they will grant me a provisional approval, even if I'm not 100% sure where we're gonna put it, but I'm gonna find a location for it. Working on that now.
What about one of the schools, Harrisburg?
Probably wouldn't need it in a school.
You wouldn't need
The
it.
issues with this is going to have adult books and children's books and some other
I
materials.
understand, but have it there. You said the northern part, I mean, have it accessible for everybody there at the front of the school. I mean, if you're using a school or Lowe's or something like that, if you get some big business.
But at Anderson County in South Carolina is one of the first in the state to utilize a book vending machine. Had a lot of really great press associated with it. It was more of a rural area, but the patrons there really loved it. We will be the first in our area to actually get a vending machine, but I think it's a really innovative way to use grant money to improve services and to get some library services in areas where we don't have it yet.
Will it work similar to what the book locker is? It's at Del Webb.
The lockers are for putting holds, so people can get holds. This is an actual vending machine. You scan your library card, you press B4, your book pops out, it checks it out for you, and we'll have a book return right there. So it will be a place where people can actually, and we'll refill it. And that's one of the jobs that the outreach librarian that council approved, that position. Will be one of the duties to keep the vending machine full of books for people to check out.
That's neat.
It's pretty cool.
It's just an innovative way to provide services.
Any other questions? Not, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All those opposed, it's unanimous. Okay, we're going to move on to item 9A. Ms. Simpson.
Actually, I'll take that one, Mr. Chairman. As you may recall, the COG, Catawba Regional Council of Government, has positions on there, and there's one called Citizen at Large. The immediate past chair, we have a vacancy in Lancaster County, and suggested that someone with a planning background, if you work with COG, a lot of their folks on planning or transportation, to see if we could find some expertise in that area. And so we do have the recommendation. Here's Mr. Corey Barnes. He's on our planning department staff. So I just wanted to highlight this is a staff member, but still fits in he meets the residency requirement of Lancaster County and would fill the desired need to have someone from the county represent the position.
And it has to be a minority. And he fits.
Have a motion to
He's a mark. So moved.
Second. Have a motion from Mr. Harper and a second from Mr. Neal. To have any discussion now? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All those opposed, it passes unanimously. Have any other openings or anything we need to consider, Ms.?
No, sir. The current vacancies are just for your information, and upcoming board expirations are also for your information.
All right.
And we'll need to look at those now that the Health Commission and
Okay, we're going to move on to item 11, executive session. We have one item to consider. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Have a motion from Mr. Luis. Do we have a second?
Mr. Chairman, can we also add to that inviting economic development staff into executive session?
We can. We have a second now?
Second.
Have a second. All right, all those in favor to go in executive session? We're in executive session. Pass. Okay, we are back from executive session. Do I have a motion to come out of executive session?
So moved.
We are out of executive session. We have a second?
Second.
Everybody's thinking about leaving. All those in favor? We're out of executive session. Ms.
Mr. Chairman, for the
Murphy-Pond.
record, council met in executive session in regards to one item, the receipt of legal advice subject to the attorney-client privilege regarding a potential contractual matter relating to an economic development project, Project Groot. No motions were made, no votes were taken.
Have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We stand adjourned.